Welcome to my channel, Westpol, which stands for Western Politics. It's self-funded by me, and it's basically just looking at the West from another view. If you like my work, please do like, share and subscribe, and comment below if you have any questions or any other views, or if you want to let me know about anything else. Thank you.
Today I would be looking into what is GamerGate, gaming in men and its effects, the correlation between gaming addiction and domestic violence, and internet gaming disorder, also known as IGD. For those of us whom haven't heard of GamerGate, it is best described as gaming controversy started in 2014, which stemmed from a harassment campaign conducted primarily through the use of hashtag GamerGate. The controversy centered on issues of sexism, misogyny, and progressivism in video game culture. The mainstream media, social warriors, and indie gamers used this hashtag for the purpose of social engineering. By social warriors, I mean third wave feminists. I have done a brief history on feminism, and I have included its link both in the comment sections below and at the end of this video. Okay, back to social engineering. It is a process through which the media controls society's behaviors and controls works of art. This is done by inducing a moral panic. The term moral panic was coined by the South African sociologist Stanley Cohen in 1972 in his book titled Folk Devils and Moral Panics. Cohen describes that moral panic has 5 stages. First is when something or someone is perceived and defined as a threat to social norms and the interest of the community or society at large. Second, the news media and community members depict the threat in a simplistic and symbolic way that quickly becomes recognizable to the greater public. Third stage, widespread public concern is aroused by the way of news media portraying the symbolic representation of the threat. Fourth, the authorities and policymakers respond to the threat, be it real or perceived, with new laws and policies. In the final stage, the moral panic and the subsequent actions of those in power lead to social change in the community. Cohen further suggests that there are 5 sets of actors involved in the process of moral panic. They are the threats that incite moral panic, which Cohen refers to as folk devils, and the enforcers of rules and laws like institutional authority figures, police, and armed forces. The news media plays its role by breaking the news about the threat and continuing to report on it, thereby setting the agenda for how it is discussed and attach visual symbolic images to it. Enter politicians who respond to the threat and sometimes fan the flames of panic, and the public, which develops a focused concern about the threat and demand action in response to it. Well, we're going a little bit off track, but I wanted to get that picture clear and described for you guys. But simply put, when you turn on the telly and you see the same news on every channel being reported again and again, that is one of the steps to induce an artificial moral panic. And I'm not talking about real news, like for example, if you keep seeing at this moment coronavirus is affecting every country. That's real news. It's a fact. You know what I mean? It's not made up. It's not a perceived threat about social norms. It has nothing to do with social norms. So that's not a moral panic. When you see something that challenges social norms and you constantly see it on every channel and everywhere, that's when you know. All this said, why should you care? The reasons I will be elaborating on. Gaming has surpassed all other forms of media in its profitability. The social engineers have been able to control music, movies, and the telly, but so far haven't been able to control the gaming industry. Movies, music, and the television is less about art and storytelling, but rather about propaganda and spreading agendas. Now, let's look at game addiction a little bit. There's mainly two types of gaming addiction. There are two types of gaming addictions because there are two types of games. Standard video games, generally designed to be played by a single player and involve a clear goal or mission, such as rescue a princess or something. The addiction in these games are often related to completing the mission and beating the highest score represented on a board. It's not that addictive once you finish it. The other type of video game addiction is associated with online multiplayer games. These games are played online with other people and are especially addictive because they generally have no ending. Gamers with this type of addiction enjoy creating and temporarily becoming an online character. They often build relationships with other online players as an escape from reality. For some, this community may be the place where they feel they're most accepted. This addiction is also known as GID. Causes of gaming addiction. Many different causes factor into game addiction. One of the main reasons that video games can become so addictive is because of the way it's been designed. Video game designers, like anyone else, try to make a profit, are always looking for ways to get more people playing their games. They accomplish this by making a game just challenging enough to keep you coming back for more, but not so hard that the player eventually gives up. In other words, success for a gamer often feels just out of reach. In this respect, the video game addiction is very much similar to another more widely recognized disorder called gambling addiction. Moving on to GID, there is extensive research available that shows that GID is more prevalent in the male gender. Individuals with IGD often suffer significant impairment or distress and may experience negative effects at work, in school, and relationships because of the amount of time they spend playing video games. They also show symptoms of withdrawal when not playing video games. Dr. Yanwen Sun of the Radiological Society of America found that alteration in cerebral activity are observed in men with IGD and that the lower brain activity in the superior frontal gyrus in men with IGD may be associated with higher impulsivity. At the stem of the brain is where your primal urges originate from. I'm hungry, I'm angry, I want to cry. These are also known as animalistic urges. The frontal lobe is our social part of the brain. Teaches us what is right from wrong, what is accepted of us in society. In a sense, it is the superego described by Freud to keep the id in check. So, in essence, your frontal lobe controls how you react in an environment that you are. So the society is an environment where you live. So for instance, if your frontal lobe was very strong and you had good control, if you got into an argument, instead of getting angry and just swearing at the other person or letting your fist just do the talking or shutting up, you would be able to reason your way and talk about your feelings. This makes us human. People with IGD don't have that strong frontal lobe, leaving them vulnerable and not being able to cope with problems in a humane way. Game addiction and suicide rates are highest in men, and specifically men who have suffered from domestic violence and have gone through a justice system that is biased against them. That brings us to the end of this video. I hope you find this video informative and would help you make decisions on how you consume what is being offered to you by the media. Enjoy your day. Thank you for watching.